All right, look at this. Our guy gets articles written about him. Our guy is in the news. He is a media star. How about this? Ryan Hollins going deep. This is like a deep, insightful profile of the one and only Ryan Hollins, who is the Houston Rockets star analyst and one of our star analysts who hasn't hung out with us in a while. Ryan, say hello to Megan Triplett. And I know, Ryan, you in your illustrious NBA career, you had stops in many places. I know you had a stop in Memphis. And who's from Memphis? Megan Triplett. Take it away, Megan.
You know, I was telling Michael this, and I said, one thing I know about Ryan is that I am from Memphis. I work for the Grizzlies. Ryan had a couple of months, I would say, here with the Grizzlies. So I got to ask you your favorite memory in Memphis and what you miss the most.
The people, man. It was all about the people. I'm a California guy, but it's just something about good, old-fashioned, down-to-earth, honest people, man. Come on, Mike. We got to upgrade you, man. That's why we're on the show here today, man. We got to upgrade you, brother. Honest people, man.
Ryan, you missed it in the last segment. I just told Michael, I was like, what is your thing about like the South? He's only lived in like cold places. And I was like, come on to Memphis. We don't shovel snow. We have humidity. And, but Michael you don't have hair, so you don't have to worry about humidity like me. So you'll be all set.
Coming from my, literally, hey, how about this, Ryan? Literally and figuratively coming from my head. I mean, but the thing is, in the cold weather, you got to have a hat on. As long as I have a hat on in the cold weather, I'm good. I'm not opposed to the South. Hey, give me opportunities. Give me an opportunity. Like Ryan Hollins got his opportunity in Houston, I'm ready to go. I do want to ask you this, Ryan, because we were talking about the NBA Finals and about Finals MVP, and we're all wondering why it matters so much. I think it matters. Megan was like, "Hey, what's the big deal?" Michael Pena was like, "What's the big deal?" Why does Finals MVP matter, if it matters at all to you?
It's the icing on the cake. It's normally that crown that you put on the best player in the game. And if you hear a lot of the NBA's best speak, you've heard the question posed: would you rather be the league MVP or the Finals MVP? Undoubtedly, you'd rather be the Finals MVP, which means you're walking away with an NBA championship and you were the best player on the floor when it mattered. So I don't think that reward means nothing. I think it means a lot. I think it's something as it comes around, you may be poking at, hey, Steph Curry, that's the one thing that he needs. He's a two-time MVP, Olympian, you can go down the list. But Steph Curry gets that Finals MVP, man, that would absolutely mean the world to his career. And the only knock that you could say, they say he doesn't hit the big shot, he doesn't show up. But, man, Steph Curry shows up in all kind of moments. You got to account for that, man, as a bad man on the floor. But I think it's something that can definitely elevate Steph Curry into much, much greater conversations because he's already solidified with who he is, but you can put him in much larger conversations.
All right, so here's why I don't think it matters. Like, I think from an athlete standpoint, I think it does matter to Steph Curry. When it comes to the word legacy and having that conversation, and as you just mentioned, Ryan, you just said, like, he's already done so much. He's already solidified himself. So when it comes to this conversation from what we've seen these last couple of days about that MVP Finals trophy and, like, this is like the last puzzle piece that Steph Curry needs. If he doesn't get it this year, let's say the Celtics win or the Warriors win and he's not the guy that gets the MVP, that still doesn't change your perspective of what Steph Curry, when it comes to his legacy and what he's done for his NBA career, right?
No, I completely agree. There's nothing that you can take away from Steph. And, Steph Curry, when I think about it and being around him, I'm not taking this from, personal knowledge that I have behind the scenes. This just is from what I've seen. He's comfortable in who he is as a superstar. He had no problem with Kevin Durant coming over and joining forces with him and saying, here, KD, put the ball in your hands. You bring us home. You'll be the Finals MVP. He's selfless, and he's easily the greatest head and shoulders above any other shooter, the greatest shooter we've ever seen play the game. I'm sorry, Reggie Miller. I'm sorry, Larry Bird. He's overachieved in so many different ways. This wasn't even a major Division I talent. When Steph came into the league, he wasn't even a megastar stepping into the league. He's a guy who got better progressively. So he knows who he is. He's comfortable. And I think all it can do for us analysts and sports heads, we can have that argument now. Is it, Isaiah Thomas or Steph Curry? Is it Magic Johnson or Steph Curry? We start having those arguments, and that's something that we can step in and do. But as far as himself, he's not the LeBron that has to chase Jordan. He's not Kevin Durant who has to chase LeBron James. That's not who he is. He's comfortable with who he is, as a megastar in the league.
I'm wondering, Ryan, I look at the Warriors here. And I love this finals matchup, by the way. But the Warriors are interesting because it's
You mean you're glad that there's no LeBron? You're glad there's no LeBron and no KD? You love this matchup? Stop it, Mike. Don't do that. Don't do that, man.
Hey, Ryan.
Questions in, man.
I know you got that Lakers photo behind you. But man, I was prepared in November. I knew in November that LeBron wasn't going to be in the finals unless he got traded somewhere else. Lakers, I knew that wasn't happening. Okay, come on. You knew that too. But this is a great matchup. But I feel like the Warriors are still trying to deal with their past in some ways. Because every time I hear Draymond defend Steph, he brings in KD. And then KD is watching it and he responds. When Steve Kerr talks about like what they used to be, KD responds. I feel like there's some psychological strands. There's some issues that maybe their breakup, it wasn't a clean breakup. Here's a lesson, boys and girls. Have a clean breakup so it won't linger 2, 3, 4 years later. Okay? Like, what do you think this is about? Do you think it's about KD's insecurities with how he's remembered there, or is it about these guys kind of taking umbrage that we don't give them their props because 2 of their championships came with Kevin Durant as a centerpiece?
It's both. It's got to be weighing on Kevin Durant's shoulders a lot more because he was the guy who was just essentially just crucified for joining the Warriors and making them even better and becoming a 2-time champion over there. And it's like, well, what's wrong with that? The guy got an NBA championship and he was out. He job well done, Kevin Durant. But at the end of the day, it's the competitive edge that you have to have as a ball player. Steph Curry, like I said, Steph doesn't mark me as a guy who's worried or concerned with that. But you look over at the ex-wife and see if she's happy, if it's the new husband doing the same things you used to do, you know what I'm saying? All right, in the old relationship, of course you're looking over. And Kevin Durant, the type of guy, KD, man, I'm speaking for myself and what I see. Kevin Durant doesn't mind finding that fuel to add to the fire. We've seen that from him. Draymond doesn't mind adding the fuel to the fire. I said this on The Herd yesterday with Colin Cowherd. Shout out Colin. Hey, man, this will be the sweetest championship yet for the Warriors because they could say we were a little older. We did it our way. This is our homegrown talent. There was nobody else that came in. And the guy we added was Andrew Wiggins. And in fact, we took Andrew Wiggins to new levels that Andrew Wiggins had never been before. They didn't take Kevin Durant to any level that he had never been before. He was already a bad man. There was no developing. All they did is put a ring on his finger and certify everything that Kevin Durant did. So for the Warriors, yes, they want to solidify that they're the homegrown, the Backstreet Boys, those day one type of fellas that doing their own thing. And if you're Kevin Durant, heck, yeah, you're salty sitting at home. Kevin Durant had dreams of being the greatest player to ever play the game. That's what's driving him. That's his competition. He's staring down LeBron James. He's staring down Kobe. He's staring down Michael Jordan. That's how Kevin Durant is built. He's a trash talker. He loves that element of the game. So, hats off to these guys. I think it's all in friendly competition. And I see what's driving the Golden State Warriors. And I think it's healthy for the game, man.
Mm-hmm. And if we can just rewind and go back to the statements that Michael said was like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, like have a clean breakup. Who has ever had a clean breakup? And if you've had a clean breakup, there's nothing to break. There's no relationship. I've never had a clean breakup, and if it's clean, then it means there is nothing there.
Mike don't have love for Mike loves
Let's
himself.
talk about
That's
this.
what we're saying. Michael only loves Michael. That's what that means.
Let's talk about this. Megan, it is okay. Like you have 2 people, you have great respect for one another. Hey, it's not working. It's not working. Is it working for you? It's not. I'll be honest. It's not working for you. It's not working for me either. And it's good. And then you break
the
up.
Difference is the difference with the KD and Ryan said it these are guys who want a ring together. When there's diamonds involved, there's never going to be a clean breakup. There's got to be a divorce. There's got to be some contract signed. There's like some history there. That will never go clean. If it was clean, that usually means I really didn't see a future with you. I kind of really thought that was just kind of like a one-time only thing, but we got there and it wasn't anything. So you got to make sure you get the good advice out here. I just want to make sure we're giving out good advice to people who are listening, because I've been.
So wait a minute. Okay.
You ain't never been left at the altar, Mike. You ain't never been left at the altar, Mike. That's what we saying.
So listen, wait, because Ryan, before you came on, now Ryan, I know you spent a lot of time in Connecticut. You know, Megan lived in Connecticut, and when it snowed, she didn't have a man at the time, so she had to shovel snow herself. And you know what? That was probably
Mike, really?
That was probably
Mike,
the breakup.
really?
That was probably the
Mike,
bad
really,
breakup,
Mike?
wasn't it? That's why, right? It was a bad breakup. That's why it wasn't there. Unbelievable. Anyway, she got me distracted. So Megan Megan doesn't believe in clean breakups. I do. Ryan also doesn't believe in clean breakups. Tell me this, Ryan. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship?
I think that Golden State will win in 6. I think they're deeper. I think they have experience. I think defensively, they really honed in that's the squad that they have to be. This isn't the Warriors of old that can go out and lock you up and then can go on these mega runs offensively where they knock down, 3 or 4 or 5 consecutive three-point shots. They can score much better than the Heat, and that's where the Heat struggled. The Heat can grind with you, but they couldn't score enough to get the job done. But the thing about the Celtics is, as much as I love them, as deep as they are, as talented as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are, I think there's just the missing part of execution. It's the lack of experience. And I think you saw experience really, come back to bite the Dallas Mavericks. If you go back to that last series, the Mavericks were whooping on them. They had them down big in that game 2. And that game 2 coming in 1-1, was going to really equalize things. And the experience of the Warriors really just came back and put hands on the Dallas Mavericks and really turn that series around. So the experience plays a huge part in this when things are equal. And I think the scoring of the Warriors ends up taking this series on its head. So I'm going to stick with the Warriors in 6.
Okay, so you picked the Warriors in 6. I got the Warriors in 7. But on the flip side of this, for the Boston Celtics, you mentioned how you have respect for this team and what they've built. What has impressed you? Because, look at Boston. It felt as if it was going to be their season, especially after the All-Star break and what they have built. And for Ime Udoka, for what he's done in his first year as head coach, what has impressed you the most about the turnaround that they have made from that All-Star break, or like January 31st, we can say, until now?
Yeah, first time I got to see the Celtics in action up close and personal. They weren't great defensively. They were talented. They were a deep team, but they didn't defend. They didn't get after you. They just kind of, they're a collective group of guys that want to get their points. They have bought in on the defensive end. And you see guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown getting in a stance, being physical, denying a guy to basketball. Defense is all about effort and wanting it. And then you got the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart and Al Horford playing at a phenomenal level for his age. So when you have your stars stepping up and your veterans setting the tone, you see the way that they're having success because they've always had the talent. I mean, Michael probably picked them to be NBA champions the last 5 or 6 years, and couldn't call it right. But we understood where Mike was going with it because this was a team that everybody liked. Am I wrong, Mike? Boston was always the team like, I really like the Celtics. They're deep. I really like the Celtics, right? That was the team. But now, Megan, to answer your question, defensively, they're bringing the heat. They're bringing the fire. They have bought in, and that's been the biggest difference. But I think that both teams can defend, but the experience, like I said earlier, wins out for the Warriors.
All right, listen, 2 questions before I get you out of here. Number 1, what was the first concert that you went to? First concert you went to? Do you remember?
First concert that I went to, man, I'm not really a concert guy, man. I think my first concert, what's the girl? What's her name? Her? I think I went to her. Megan, am I saysaying it right?
You are, yeah, but that was like, hers only been like around the last 5-7 years. Is that your first concert?
No, I really hadn't gone to concerts. I just honestly hadn't. I was too busy playing basketball.
And Ryan, you don't understand what you're saying. Okay, a guy who went to UCLA. I wonder if there's any good music out in Los Angeles. Oh, a lot. So a guy who went to UCLA, probably going to school with musicians and artists and like creatives. And you happen to be on with the singer right now. I don't know if you know this. Megan is a singer. So if you'd like to hear Megan sing, maybe Megan will sing for you. But I'm not gonna put her on the spot like that. Here's my
He's
second
not a
question for you.
concert guy. He's not a concert guy, Michael. He just said that. So there's no need of having a concert.
I went to like the Reggae Fest. We had like the Reggae Fest and all that. But I'm thinking like going to hear a specific artist. No, I got to do more of that, man. I'm trying to grow, Michael. I'm trying to grow, man. Stop calling me out, man.
I'll tell you this, in all seriousness, and this is my last question for you. I thought the athletic story on you was so great, and I loved your responses when they were asking you about being an analyst for the Houston Rockets. You said so much smart stuff there, but just tell us the one thing that really, lots of things stood out about it, but you were saying how you listen to fans, like you sometimes, go on Twitter and go into these chat spaces and listen to what fans have to say, and they're informed, they're passionate, and that helps you on the job. Just tell us about that year one as a Houston Rockets analyst and what it meant to you.
For one, we joke around a lot, brother, but your support to my career, you and Mike supporting you two, Megan, we're friends for life. That means the world to me, because you guys have brought me in as part of the family with the show. But for me, I want to make sure I have an experience where I can understand from ownership to the business side, to the front office, to the coaches, to the players, to the fans. My voice is supposed to connect everything. And if I'm not listening to what the fans have to say and vibing with them and letting them know who I am, I'm not doing my job. I also understand, even though I love the Rockets, even though they helped me fall in love with basketball, watching Hakeem do his fadeaways and everything, in the finals, those are my first basketball memories. I never played for the Rockets. And I know such a rich tradition of the organization. I know all the amazing players that put in work. While I played in the league before the Hall of Famers, my job is to pay homage to those guys. My job is to pay homage to those fans. So for me, it was never about making it about me or putting my stamp, or it was the Ryan Hollins show. I'm there to pay homage to everybody. And the fans are just as much included of a piece of that, because we're going through a bit of I don't even like to say rebuild, development year. They need to know what's going on. They have questions. They have concerns. It's a tough year, man. When you are rocking with your favorite team, you literally win and lose with your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all going through it. So, we have to be on the same page together, but it's refreshing to hear some of those fresh voices. And for them, getting to know Ryan Hollins, getting to know I'm a family man. Hey, I love this team. Hey, I'm a hard worker. I had to go get it out the mud. I needed them to know me. So it was equally as important, but appreciate you for supporting, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Hollins, good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us. Man, listen, you worked so hard this year. There's so many great concerts around the United States of America and around the world.
Houston. You're in Houston. Like, great concerts from there. You gotta go. You got your girl Meg Thee Stallion from there, so check her. Next time she's on tour in Houston, that's the one you want to go to. Like, come on, we gotta get you out. We gotta get you to a concert.
Okay, right. I'm on.
That's your homework. That's your homework now. You deserve it.
All right. I'm gonna send y'all a tweet or something when I'm at a concert.
Have a little something to sip on while you're at the concert too. Just a little something. Uber home.
See, Mike, see how you do? You didn't take this to a whole nother level, dog. We just talked about the music. Now you're going to a whole nother level, man.
It's a night out.
You're going to go to a 10, man.
It's a whole event. It's a whole event. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.